Hey VC, this is Harvey of Spin the Black Circle. Hope everyone is well and doing good things. So, as you'll have seen from the tag, this is about Pink Floyd at Pompeii 2025. I would say reissue, but first time on vinyl for this double live album, recorded in 1971. For some reason, Sony thought to moniker it in Roman numerals with 1972, but here ho. A bit of clickbait because what's rubbish isn't this LP, but some of the moaning and online, including the VC comments that I've heard about it. It is frankly essential if you're a Floyd fan. But let me just take a step back. This is a live album, in a sense, recorded in 1971 because there wasn't an audience. Pink Floyd travelled to Pompeii on the behest of their then manager and an art director who thought it might be a good idea to capture this, at the time, very psychedelic prog band in the auspicious surroundings of Pompeii, the ruins of Pompeii in Italy, as a kind of artistic bent. And there's no audience. Apparently, they didn't have enough power when they set up, so they had to run a cable from the nearest town, and the cable length was something like 2,400 meters to this amphitheater in the center of the ruins of Pompeii. So fair play to them for not giving up. So some of the footage is recorded there. They insisted on playing live, which is great, obviously, because we wouldn't have a live album otherwise. And some of the footage was recorded in Paris, I believe, and the original concert film was only an hour long. So the documentary movie of At Pompeii has augmented to include recording of parts of Dark Side of the Moon and Abbey Road, actually, much of which has been used in other documentaries since then. So that's the documentary film. Now, the reason I've started there is I think you should start by watching, if you haven't already, the upgraded 4K documentary movie. It's only $3.99 to hire on YouTube or on Amazon and other streaming platforms. I know it has or is on its cinemas too, but if you've got a big screen TV, as I'm lucky enough to have in the living area, I got up early this morning, got floor standard speakers in there, and I put the concert movie on, and it was absolutely stunning. So what they've done is they've gone through and restored it frame by frame, so it doesn't have that grainy look and feel to it that you might expect from something that's 53, 54 years old now. So absolutely tremendous, and it's really startling to see these young men, the four of them, Roger Waters, Dave Gilmour, Rick Wright, Nick Mason, in the prime, about to go in the studio to record their masterpiece, really, Dark Side of the Moon, and clearly gelling it on fire as a band. There's loads of experimentation, both on this LP, but in the concert movie, and farting around, for want of a better phrase. There's one track which is on here, Mademoiselle Knobs, I think it's called, where they've got a dog and they're holding up a mic to the dog, and the dog's barking as Dave Gilmour's playing a harmonica. So that's frankly shite. But they're a psychedelic rock band at the time, who probably were smoking a few things, I would guess, and you get that from some of the interviews. There's some really odd interviews interspersed in this too, with them talking about they're in the canteen, and Nick Mason saying he doesn't like crust on his pie. So anyway, I digress. But other than those shite bits, the documentary movie, the concert footage is absolutely fantastic, and it very much signifies how this band were on the verge of recording that masterpiece, because how they gel when the four of them are just playing their instruments is something else, and it's great to see that on screen in this 4K restored video. So it looks fantastic, and the concert footage is fantastic, and it's nice the way they've interspersed it with the short amount of recording they did in Pompeii and the stuff they did in Paris with some of the Abbey Road stuff. So very much worth watching, especially in that restored format. So I would start there, especially given it's relatively cheap to hire at about £4. But then this double LP, which has just come out 2 weeks ago, this is another level. Sonically, it's unbelievable. It's remixed by Steven Wilson. And the Steven Wilson remixes I've heard of everything from King Crimson to Jethro Tull. I think there's mixed success from Steven Wilson. Sometimes it feels like he kind of overdoes it in terms of what he does sonically with some of those albums, particularly King Crimson's Call of the Crimson King. But that's not the case here. It is incredibly organic sounding, visceral sounding bass from Roger Waters, and well, the rhythm section in particular with Roger Waters and Nick Mason's drums are unbelievable. But the whole sound, so both, it must have been captured on quality equipment, despite it being in Pompeii with 2,000 meters of cable, because the sound is so analog and so precise, and it sounds like a really, really tight band, even with those experimental numbers. Echoes on this is unbelievable. The other thing that's truly outstanding about this, and why I think this isn't a also ran to your Floyd collection, I think this is an essential album to add for Floyd fans, is the pressing quality. Now, I need to be careful here because this is the EU pressing, pressed it, the record industry in Netherlands, and everything I see on Discogs and online affirms what I think, which is this is a dead silent, black backdrop, amazing pressing that just allows the music to come through. Apparently the US pressing, for US VC watchers, unfortunately pressed it GC, and apparently there's the noise floor is awful on that, and which won't be great on this because there are many quiet passages on this record. So yeah, unbelievable in terms of the music, unbelievable in terms of the pressing quality, and actually the selections on here from those first few albums, they've stayed well clear of all my coma, and they've gone for the cream of Saucer Full of Secrets, and then One of These Days is on here from Metal, and then the version in 2 parts of Echoes is truly stunning on this record. Possibly even, I hate to say it, but the definitive version that I've heard of Echoes from this Pink Floyd lineup. So the concept video and documentary sets the scene. I very much think you should watch that first. But this as a keeper, this double vinyl, first time on vinyl pressing of this, pressing quality, sound of the band, a band just about to hit that world stage and break it really big. Already a big band by this time, certainly in the UK, but Dark Side of the Moon obviously another level, and this just captures them just as the world's about to fall at their feet because the talent was burgeoning. So not rubbish, despite the clickbait that I gave, the title that I gave to the upload video. This is an essential Floyd album, and if like me you're a Floyd fan, this isn't another Endless River. It's not something that's an add-on. This belongs in your collection, and I wholeheartedly recommend it. So yeah, great album, Pink Floyd at Pompeii, double album. Just get the EU pressing, as I say. Based on what I've read, this is streets ahead. So there you go. What do you think? There's lots of VC posts about this one because it's Pink Floyd, right? But what do you think? Please like, subscribe, comment, tell me if I'm wrong. I'd love to hear from you, and peace.